Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 5 minutes with R. So today I would like to address an inquiry from an acquaintance of mine. What can R do except for statistic analysis? So R statistic programming is well known for its very extensive, powerful data visualization capabilities, right? So it has a lot of functions to generate multiple graphs and different types of graph in a very presentable way and in a very fast and easily understandable grammar or syntax. So there are a few core graphic systems that we can use and will discuss for today. It's number one, using base R graph or the base function from the R itself. Number two is using an add-on called the ggplot2 package. And lastly, can we upgrade ourselves into letting our graph becoming interactive graphs? So there are a few key advantages of using R to generate your graph. Number one is the flexibility and customization level of the graphs that we are going to generate, because R is a statistical programming which provide very extensive customization parameters so that we can adjust our graph according to our publication target. And because of that, most of the base output of our graphs will be publication ready. So because this program is basically used for academic work, that is why they understand what we need and what can we generate out of it. And lastly, with the additional packages, we can actually transform our picture graph into an interactive graph. I'll show you later in this video. So let us start off with the base package or the base plots using the R built-in graphical function. Before we start, let us look into our data. It's based on the data that we've used earlier on, whereby we have individual, the week, the day, the depth, and the turbidity. So we are going to generate a graph based on the turbidity, but grouped in, for now, for this video, will be the day and the depth. So let us start by the first one using the base map. Sorry, not the base plot, whereby I want to generate a box plot based on the data one and using the turbidity values and group by depth. So you can see it's just one line, we generate the graph immediately. So if you zoom it in, it's as expected and it's practically publication ready. We don't really need to do a lot of tweaking and adjustment. But however, if you want to tweak it with like additional of colors, we can add another one line here. You can see that it changed color from gray to blue and green. And if we want to add more stuff like labeling as well as putting a title, we can add more lines to it like X lab, Y lab, X label, Y label, and also the main title. And you can see the changes right here immediately. And lastly, from the base map, you can also transpose or turn the graph 90 degree by putting another extra line called horizontal equals to 0. Yeah. So basically, even using the base plot function in R to customize your graph is fairly easy with only one line if you know what target or what line do you need to use or what functions or parameters you need to set. So if you want to make this graph much better or more presentable, you can also use another library of add-ons called the ggplot2. Now, for this example, I will run it using another type of grouping called the day. Instead of depth, bottom, and surface, we have day from Monday to Sunday. And for ggplot, the base function is fairly simple. Number one, we just need to specify the data set, and then what is the X and what's the Y for your data, the graph that you want to generate, and lastly, what sort of plot you want to make. In this case, we want to generate box plots. So you just put it in, and voila, you can see that the turbidity based on every day, and it's generated in a very presentable manner and publication ready. However, if you want to add more customization, add more stuff into it, we can add more in a sense of a few lines such as the labeling. Like initially earlier on, we can label the day, change the y-axis into WP by NTU and also add a title. And we can also change the theme into a different type of theme, which is more presentable. And lastly, put colors into each boxes to identify them individually. You can put this here, and you can see that, yeah, the theme change, the label change, and in fact, we have our own legend right here based on the color for each theme. And if you want to add more complexity in your graph generation, ggplot can also allow you to break the graph into two based on another level of grouping. In this case, we have to group it based on the day and as well as into two box plots of different depth. We just need to add just one line right here. It's called the facet graph with depth. And you can see that from here, we can generate a stability by depth for bottom and surface by the day. So it's practically very simple, and you can easily generate your graph, and it is publication ready. However, my last graph plotting will be my favorite one, will be this interactive graphs by using the Plotly library. So what's the difference is that you see here, you just need to add one line, ggplotly, and the rest will be the same, exactly the same as what's prior in ggplot. And we just need to run this. And here we are. Now, what I'm showing you right now is it's almost the same as what we've seen earlier, but the difference will be that the graph that we have here is actually interactive. You can see, I can see all the values from the median to minimum, maximum, the quartiles, even the outliers. I can choose the outliers. And in fact, I can have more interactive or freedom of interacting with the data by, if I want to close out some box, I can do that. And in fact, you can isolate or filter your data based on your requirement, right? Like here. And if I were to add back here, yeah, you can see that. And we can also change the scale here, right? Yeah. So now you see what I've shown you now here, that the three levels of complexity of generating graphs using R. The one is using the base plot base function and using an add-on with ggplot2. And lastly, generate a interactive graph using Plotly. So if you like this video that I've shown you right now, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and share this video to anyone that you think that is beneficial to them. So from now on, thank you.